How's it going, everybody? And welcome back once again to Collect Them All, brought to you by MyGarageBar.com.
Hey, now.
Yeah. And of course, I'm Rich Massucci, your host, your Garage Bar host, that I am. Of course, joining me once again here is Mr. Jacob Doxtader.
Hello.
And Mr. William Seth back in the house. Guys, we got a big day here today. We have another guest.
It's always a big day here.
And another snowstorm.
Another snowstorm. This is actually the 1 year anniversary of the huge snowstorm that rolled through here. What was it? Snowstorm Stella. They give it a name these days.
Well, I have no idea. I don't keep track of that kind of
Well, the only reason I mention this is because I know that there is a connection here. It's like an anniversary from our guest. Go ahead and introduce yourself, and then we'll talk a little bit more about Stella.
Hey, everyone. My name is Brandon Frederick. I'm from Hamilton, New York, which is about, in this weather, an hour and a half drive down the road. And I'm a vintage, mainly Star Wars collector. I sell, but I celebrate all toy lines. Movie nerd, you name it. I listened to your guys' last episode, and like I said, it was like listening to part of my childhood again.
You knew you had to be part of it, right?
I was like, man, those guys, I need to get my friends together.
Yeah, you fit right in.
Yeah. You're going to pick the worst day to drive down here for, too.
Well, I was sick last when we tried to do it the first time. I was like, and Bill, messaged me today. He's like, is weather going to hurt it? I'm like, there's no way.
I thought for sure everyone was bailing out on it. Because I'll drive through anything. I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is the day a year ago I met Jacob.
Right, yeah. I was watching a YouTube video or a live Facebook video on a Star Wars group, the Imperial Commissary, and I saw he was in Hamilton, New York. I said, oh, geez, I'm 30 minutes away from this dude.
Right.
Let's give a shout out to him and say, what's up? Turns out a great guy to meet, he's one of us.
Wait, that was a year ago we went and saw Star Wars up there?
Yeah, May.
Or just about?
Yeah.
Wow.
That was, it will be in May. That's when I met Jacob, and
yeah, I hadn't heard from I sent him a message, just said, hey, I'm from Utica too, I'm a fellow collector, and didn't think much of it. We just briefly said hello, and then a couple months later, out of the blue in May, he sent me a message, he said, hey, we're doing a Star Wars movie night, you should come out to it, which I did, and it was a great time.
And he brought Bill, that's when I met Bill, and I don't know if these guys knew what to think, we were doing charity raffles, and there's like a whole spread of so much food, because like I said, my buddy works for Colgate and was able to get the funds to procure all this. There's only like 20 people that showed up. There's enough food for like 50.
Yeah, there was mad pieces and drinks and
Boba fettuccine, and we were just
Boba fettuccine.
Yeah, that's right. So has the statute of limitations run out where we can actually discuss what we did that day? Or I remember it was kind of hush hush that we were there actually. So
you didn't want Disney cronies.
I think we have to keep it hush hush as far. We watched some stuff there.
Okay,
I think that's what we have to say, just because someone else is involved in that, and I don't want to get anyone in trouble, so to speak.
But we did watch them in the nice viewing situation, I should say that. I guess we can't really get too much into it, but it was very pleasurable.
You can guess what we watched.
Yeah. And I was just happy to have some of their collectors or fans, like my friends are fans and stuff, and they're not collectors like me, and then I got to know these two and what they collect, and my other friends are Star Wars fans, pretty hardcore, but not as diehard as me. Jedi was the first movie I saw in theaters in '83, right here at Sangertown, and so it's really stuck with me. But these guys, I could tell when they came up, just like their eyes when that screen went up, and they were like, "Whoa, this is." And Bill's like, "I'm not sure if we're gonna be able to stay for the whole thing." All of a sudden, New Hope's done, Empire's done. He's like, "Oh, we're staying."
Yeah, we went back up the next day.
Yeah, the next day
you just revealed what we watched.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cat's out of the bag now.
Yeah.
Empire of the Sun.
But yeah, that snowstorm, I just did a live thing. I remember, Jacob, I want to have t-shirts made with some kind of iconic picture of Central New York and just says Hoth is cute. Because the stuff we put up with here is something. But yeah, I was fortunate enough to meet these guys, and they hung out, and we talked the wars, and I've been talking to them ever since.
Yeah, we've touched base ever since.
Yeah, the best part too is you're a very charitable guy. I know you were putting that on for charity, and my son actually won a vintage C-3PO bagged with the bag that Chewbacca carries around. So
Oh,
it's
yeah.
still sealed in the bag, so he was happy with that. It's still sealed in the bag to this day, actually.
Nice.
Like, I don't want this.
With all the crap I have, I've told Bill I have a friend out west who's a family guy. He doesn't have time. He's not on the internet. He doesn't want anything to do with it, so he sends me a lot of stuff that he's just been collecting. And he's charitable too, and he donates some toys with me. And at first we were just doing it to put it on, and then they're like, "Well, we should make this a charity thing, to give back to the community." And so particular university is like, "Oh, this is cool. You're doing this here." And so that charity event over a couple days, we raised $500 for Bridges Council of Madison County for substance and alcohol abuse.
Sweet.
So that's great. When you can have that kind of fun and be a nerd and make some money for a good cause, it's just like, it's so rewarding.
That's the best.
It is
Absolutely.
the best. And then you guys weren't able to make it out, but we did a lightsaber vigil for Carrie Fisher when Last Jedi released.
Oh, your favorite movie.
Yeah. I'm on the same page with Bill. And it's so funny because some of my friends are just trying to find ways to like it. And my hardcore fans that are friends of mine will message me and be like, "Dude, that wasn't really good, huh?" No, it was not. They come to me, because I'm, out of all my friends, I love it the most, and my friends who I know their stuff will message me, and Bill and I had big talks about it.
Oh, yeah, so disappointing. Rich loved it, too.
Oh, what a disaster.
well, now we can debate the Blu-ray because it's going to have those additional scenes.
Well, I already
Can't wait.
own the digital copy, so.
Oh, congratulations. You own nothing tangible, so when they take it away, you have
Right.
nothing.
Well, I bought the I bought the hard copy. That'll be in the mail soon.
I'll tell you what, I know they want to make it for newer generations and do some stuff, and that's fine, but don't crap on the people that made it.
Exactly.
Or how we feel about it, or the people and the iconic characters we grew up with. Because I just feel like, I'm going to be honest, I liked Force Awakens. It might have been the same story. It might have been the same story as the first one, but at least it was cohesive and told you a story.
Right.
And it made you wonder who Snoke was and all these questions. And none of them were answered in Last Jedi. And I was just like, what the hell's going on here?
They were just like, everything you've wondered about, it doesn't really
It doesn't
matter.
really
It's all
matter.
just crap. Don't worry about these guys.
So it left a bad taste in my mouth for a couple months after it.
I almost walked out of the theater. I thought, are you kidding me? I'm going to walk out of a Star Wars movie? But then I was just so entertained watching Rich's face. Just his eyes roll. His mouth is just cringing.
The tears.
After getting over the hype of being there for a Star Wars movie, and the first 15 minutes in, you're like, what the crap?
When I saw Carrie Poppins when she's flying across the screen,
That's when they started to lose me.
I just looked at Bill and oh my god, there was this shared moment where we're just like, man, is it the time we walk out? Is this it?
Well, like I said, I got the digital copy, and the reason I got it is because my son wanted to watch it, so we finally watched it, and even he said to me, "What is she doing? Why is she doing that?"
I know exactly what she's doing.
Listen, we know
Pooping on everything you love.
we know she's force sensitive. You don't have to tell us by flying her through space.
Exactly.
That coupled with everything else, probably the biggest letdown was Luke.
Yeah.
For me personally, I thought we waited 30 plus years to see him show why he's the Jedi Master, and
He phoned it in.
He phoned it in. Yeah. He FaceTimed.
Wait. I thought his performance was good. I just thought
Yes,
the
yes.
role he was given was garbage.
I agree. No, he was Mark Hamill to me and Luke Skywalker. But yeah,
Did you see the way he caught that fish? It was amazing.
The way he drank that milk.
I thought it was
too,
more impressive
that
the
lost
pole
me.
vault.
Yeah, the pole vault. He's going off to the Olympics, the Jedi Olympics next year.
Not to mention the fact that he the biggest loophole, and that tells me they don't care about the original fans that much, is the fact that he never lost faith in Vader and that there was good in him the whole time. I know there's good in you. I know there's good in you. I know there's good in you. So he gets an inkling that his nephew might be on the dark side.
Kill him.
Yeah. Are you serious?
I'm not going through this shit again.
Did you guys watch the first three? Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta say too, having watched it, that was only the second time I had seen it. I saw it once in the theater. I didn't go back a second time. I know you guys did, but
I didn't.
I know you didn't. Brandon.
Rich sent me a message like, I got free tickets to Last Jedi. You want to go? I was like, all right.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, it dragged on. I was like, oh my god.
Except that Canto White scene, man, that just flies by. It's so good.
Listen, you guys don't know, but I actually tried that movie 4 times.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and it just got worse every single time.
Rich hates
That's why I didn't go back.
Now here's the $1 million answer. My son loved it. So, what can you say? I
Don't be
don't
like
love
one
it.
of those people on all these forums that are like, it's for kids. It's just I don't care, man.
Well,
The hell,
anybody
got
can
no
say what
taste.
they want. I have no.
Yeah, that's what, I love Bill's comments on every page. It's like, your kid doesn't know good from bad yet.
Hey, let me tell you something. They made Garbage Pail Kids the movie, and kids like it.
Yeah.
I liked Howard the Duck when it came out.
I still love Howard.
I still like it.
I knew Howard the Duck might have been better than Last Jedi.
It probably is.
So I just said the $1 million answer. Now here's the $1 million question to Brandon. Did it affect your collecting?
No, he went right out and bought
Well,
that
there's
Rose
a
figure.
little bit of silence there, but I know damn well he sent me a message saying, I'm thinking about getting rid of all my Star Wars stuff right now. So, and I did too, to be honest with you. I was like, I don't know if I can look at this stuff anymore.
So I sold all the Last Jedi stuff I had immediately.
Okay.
I still have every carded Force Awakens except for that fifth brother. I'm
Okay,
kinda
so
leaving
you're-
it out. Bill's like, it's up here for $5.
But
And
not
I'm like,
anymore. It's gone.
I'm like, I know. I'm like, I kind of like leave one so I can always get it. I will be honest with you guys. I, for other reasons, sold my vintage collection.
Really?
I know I was going to
loose or carded or just all of it? Oh,
loose. I'm planning to go back to it because you know what? The fun of it was hunting every figure.
I
Right.
agree.
Once I had them all in my case in my living room, I was like, well, I'm not going to go mint on card because I can never afford that. But like, that's how I met all these contacts and started selling on Instagram and met these guys is because I was like, oh, do you have the weapon for this guy? Do you have this guy? Like, that's how I made all my contacts and friends in this world was collecting the figures. And that was really the fun for me. So I have another expensive hobby, which is hunting. And I hunt intensively. Hannah,
Humans.
my wife, venison's really the only meat my wife will eat. So I had to buy a really expensive bow and I'm really into bow hunting. And I said, well, I can't have two expensive hobbies. So and I still have a whole room full of collectibles, vintage stuff, box vehicles, stuff like that. But I was like, I'm like, I can get these back. I know I can, it's might cost a little more. I did a lot of trading for the set when I got it. But I think in another couple months, I'm going to start again and I'm just going to, because now I know more and I know what I'm looking for and I know what I might want. There's some things I remember listening to your episode where Bill was introduced that you guys have in your collection you'll never sell. And I'm the same way. My Han and Carbonite was, one of the figures that I kept from my childhood that my parents gave to me.
Sweet.
He's pretty beat up, but I still got him. The Orange Cape Squid I picked up.
You didn't get rid of the Rancor your dad got you, did you?
He got me the box
the
Jabba playset.
Jabba, sorry.
No, the one I sold in my sale the other night was not the same one. That one was actually part of that collection I got out of Fonda. That thing looked like it just came off the shelf. But no, I would never. Anything my parents got me is just sentimental, and I could never. He's like, you should sell it and make money. I'm like, no way, Dad. Like that was like my parents support my collecting. They showed me Star Wars. They love it. And we were at the antique show last year.
Yeah, I remember that in August. You told me.
And
about
my
that,
dad,
yeah.
we saw it. Bill showed us the booth that had it, and it was $90. And Bill's like, I think that's kind of pricey. I'm like, I don't think that's bad for the inserts and everything. And like, Jabba was still in his baggie. You never see that. Everything was still sealed in baggies. So my dad surprised me and went back and got it for me. And I was like, you didn't have to do that, Dad. And he's like, yeah, I wanted to. And, he had just got out of the hospital. He had some major surgery on a blocked carotid artery. So I think he was having like this moment of like, oh, I want to hook my kids up. That was really nice, Dad. So I'll never sell that. I've got my Rancor. I've still got a crap ton of stuff. And like, even my wife, when she saw, she's like, I can't believe you're selling this stuff. I'm like, well, the thing is, like, it's up there and I can look at it, but like, I mostly remember the stories of each figure and how I got each one. I don't, like the figure's great, but like that one came from New Zealand or this one came from my buddy in Kansas. Like, so I will get it back.
Well, I got to ask you now. This actually leads. It's a perfect opportunity to mention that actually Hannah is here with us.
Hello.
Yeah, so jump on in. So let's get her the microphone over here and slide that right over. We got to bring you into the conversation.
Hi, guys.
Because as he's talking about the house and different things like the collections in there, so you get to see all this stuff. Obviously.
Oh yeah, it's spread around the house.
It's spread everywhere.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, let's be honest. The living room was the only place we had it displayed because the case was very clean. And she's like, that's neat and organized. You could have that out here, but everything else is in your room in the back. So
Yeah.
Rich will give you some pointers on how to spread it out throughout the whole house. if you need
Fill the whole house
Right.
until there's nowhere to sit.
them. Except on some He-Man figures.
I can't. I've got nothing. You're absolutely right.
He's like
nothing I can
he's like
come
the
back
leather
with.
face of like toy collecting. Like his chairs are made of action figures. Beds made of action figures.
Right now
The
he's
lamppost.
that's fantastic.
right now he's hoarding curio cabinets.
Oh yeah.
Oh, jeez.
I did. I got another one the other night.
Well, at least you're displaying them for once instead
Right.
of
After 30 years.
Throwing your clothes in the garbage so you can make room for toys.
Well, after 30 years, I thought it would be worth taking some of these things out of a box and putting them out. But yeah, curio cabinets. That's my new thing. So
Yeah, she's right though. Like, since I started selling, like, my buddies sending me stuff, or I find stuff online, or I buy some collections through people from Instagram. They hit me up and say, "Hey, do you want to buy this stuff?" And I'm like, "Yeah." My house has quickly become a shipping center. You know,
Boxes everywhere.
I have a toy room in the back, and that's where my collection is. But it's also where my inventory sits. The closet is my shipping area. So I've constantly got a box of 100 small bubble mailers, 100 large bubble mailers, 500 small bubble pouches, bubble tape, bubble wrap, you name it. Like, so that's.
So when I need some supplies, I'll come see you.
Just come see me, yeah.
right after the auctions, go right over.
And it's just nuts because, like, I'll have like 15 cardboard boxes, and she'll walk into the kitchen and look at them. I'm like, I swear these will be gone by this week, or garbage day, because I have to ship stuff, and it's like.
It's fine.
I tell my girlfriend that lie all the time. Oh, this is going to be gone by tonight.
Yeah.
What I don't tell her is, I mean, gone off the table to like the
To another
floor.
spot.
Yeah.
A dresser drawer.
In this room alone, we have every degree of collector/seller, where Rich never sells. Once a year, he'll get rid of something, even though he claims he's going to get rid of stuff all the time. Jacob sells relatively frequently, but I don't think a ton.
Yeah.
Where I sell quite a bit just on the flip to support buying the stuff I want, and then you sell very frequently, at least on your Instagram page.
I do. I started a page. Actually, you don't know, Bill. I started a page called Outer Rim Trades and Sales. I thought it was cool, and it didn't have any traction, and I didn't have any inventory, you know. And I just kept networking and meeting people, and just talking to collectors on there through buying and stuff, and some of the other great sellers on there, like Far Toys and Toys from the 80s, and getting stuff from them. And eventually, I happened to meet this guy out west that had all this stuff, and he just wanted to move it. He's got kids. He doesn't want to have anything to do with it. He doesn't like the internet and stuff. He's not on there. So he's like, I can send you stuff and you can make a part commission. So I was working a job that paid pretty well in the restaurant business when I met these guys. And they were just, it was not fun. Our relationship was strained. I didn't get to see her. I was working 80 to 100 hours a week to make the money that was, necessary to pay bills and stuff. So when this opportunity came up for me to sell, my passion, I get to play with Star Wars toys and sell them and meet other collectors and put them in people's collection. And so I left work one day. I went to my old job at Colgate University on the grounds crew at the golf course and said, "Listen, do you have a spot for me?" And my boss was like, "Yeah, I can't pay you nearly." I took like half a pay cut, half of the amount I was making. But I was like, I think I can subsidize that by selling Star Wars toys. So Jabba's Toy Dungeon was born. And,
that's his Instagram if you want to check it out.
Yeah, that's my Instagram where I sell stuff or trade or buy collections. And so I've just started doing that. And I've had a lot more time at home, because my work schedule is 6 to 2:30 during the day, and then I can come home and take pictures for the sale and do a sale and be home with her at night. And our relationship's just gotten better. And she gets it. She knows I have to do it to make money, and it's more about making money to pay bills than it is to buy collectibles right now. I like doing a lot of trading, but bills are the first thing, and we want to buy a house. I think when I have a house, that's when I really want to have like a finished basement and then really start getting into it,
Uh-oh.
That's how it begins.
So, I mean, at that point, I'm just having a lot of fun doing it. I'm having a lot of fun meeting people. I do as much charity work as I can. And then next week, I'm going to start a new program on there. I want to do a Collector of the Week. So anyone I'm friends with or that follows me or anything like that, I want to do a feature of their collection and post, have them send me pictures. And then if they are willing to do it, send them some swag, send them like a free vintage figure, send them some stickers and stuff. So
maybe someday I'll get into this new technology called, what's it called?
Instagram.
The internet.
The internet?
What you should do is get a picture of Rich's collection, because then the Hoarder Show will contact him about a week later and want to do an episode.
Hoarder's buried alive.
I don't know about you, Bill, but I just found like Instagram, like I started on Instagram. I started my collecting, trading, buying, and stuff like on there. And everyone was fantastic and appreciative of you buying from them or selling to them. Like, everyone was just so nice. And
I agree.
One of my friends was like, "Oh, you should go on Facebook page. You're like 10% cheaper than eBay and blah, blah, blah." So I joined a couple Facebook page. And that's when, like, it was like someone looking at me and saying, I remember when I was all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, because like, you get on there and it's like some people, there are some good people. I've met some awesome people on there. But a lot of people are
A lot
pretentious.
of greed.
Greed,
Yeah, a lot of pretension.
like I posted, I went to my friend's house and found a Blue Helm, Fett in his closet. Now this kid hasn't been back in Hamilton for 20 years. I helped shovel his parents' driveway out in this blizzard last year. I offered them, I didn't know it was a Blue Helm. It was just in a box. She's like, I'll give you this box for $50. I didn't even look through it. I got home and found it. Then I went and shoveled them out of their driveway. They've been trapped in their house for 2 days. So I was like, I owe them more. And I gave her some more money for it.
Now, what's the Blue Helm Fett?
Blue Helm Boba Fett. So the story goes that there was a problem with a mold in the Taiwan factories, and it created some kind of discretion on the front of the helmet. So instead of running them all again, they just did a blue overspray on the front of the helm. And it's pretty rare. You can't find them. So I was shocked when I found it. And I posted it on there for confirmation on Facebook, and immediately people were like, I hope your friend doesn't come looking for it,
Wait, how many PMs did you get within 5 minutes asking to sell it?
Oh, a ton. Yeah, a ton. And like lowballing me and stuff. And I was like, this is bull. Like, I was just trying to get some confirmation. And that Taiwan Fett, there's a friend of mine on Instagram who's having a tough time in life. And he, couldn't afford toys. He was having some downtime. So he was a customer of mine from the beginning. So I just sent him that and said, hey man, like, take this, you haven't been able to collect or you haven't been present. So it made his day, and like just helping out and doing stuff like that makes people happy. And you didn't find that on Facebook, and that's a huge divide, I think. And Bill agreed with me that like people on Instagram are just so thankful to get like a figure, they're like, oh, this is great, thank you so much,
right?
Like, I appreciate it. And Facebook is just people are spoiled or brats. Or
yeah, that's the thing. Facebook's a cesspool. I mean, every facet of the whole social networking on Facebook, everywhere you look, it's just negativity.
Yes.
And that's why I'm surprised that when I met you, that Brandon,
that you weren't
that
an asshole.
that you weren't an asshole. I mean, not only weren't you an asshole, but you're full of positivity and charitable. And I'm like, what the hell?
We're never going to get along. Me and Jake are a bunch of jerks.
I found this dude from Facebook. Oh, my God.
You're only here so long, and I know all of us have probably had friends that passed away that didn't get to live it, so like I'm grateful every day that I get to, to live life and have the stuff in my possession or get to talk with people about it. And I bought there's an eBay. I bought a Fett on eBay, and it ended up being a Blue Helm. The guy didn't know what it was. And
This guy looking into all the good stuff.
Oh, he actually,
Maybe I'm going to start being charitable and nice to people.
Yeah, the toy karma exists because I bought this Fett for $25, and the guy had a bad lighting picture of it, and I knew because he thought the Blue Helm was child painted. He didn't know what he had. So my buddy who wanted one reached out to me, and he was like, I'm like, oh, I found this on eBay. I was like, you want to buy it? And he's like, I'd probably only offer you $75. I'm like, give me 25 because that's what I paid. Like, I believe in good toy karma. Like, it's got to come back to you, and I'm trying to offset some of that negativity on Facebook. And I've stayed off Facebook a lot altogether because it put me down. Like,
you left a couple of those pages on your own accord once because I was trying to tag you with something. And I sent you a message like, did you leave one of those sites? And you're like, oh yeah, I just couldn't deal with that.
Yeah, I had a guy blatantly make fun of me and be an ass on one of the pages, and it was against the page's rules. And people were like, oh no, it's okay. Like, we just warned him. I'm like, you know what? I don't want to be here. If there's like, I made a meme about it and went out of his way, and I was like, you know what? I just couldn't believe it. And it was cool when I started and stuff was a little cheaper. And then the three of us at the celebration or the charity event we had started talking about a couple particular individuals.
I can only imagine.
Yeah. And, I still follow those individuals' eBay pages, and I watch their stuff, and I see what kind of crap they're trying to pull on new collectors, and it's just disgusting.
Well, eBay's so...
Well, that's another cesspool.
Yeah,
well, I mean, he carries that person who we're talking about, because I know we're talking about the same person, carries it from eBay to Facebook. And, people sing his praises. And he's tried to, I don't know if you guys saw, but he's infiltrated Instagram now.
Oh, yeah? You'll have to explain who that is afterwards. But I just remember the whole, like, Princess Leia debacle he had on eBay via Facebook. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, New Hope Princess Leia not mint for $275. I think it was
$275.
Yeah.
Oof,
and actually, one of my buddies on the pages, he kind of stays in the dark on the pages, but he messaged him and was like,
just a loose figure?
Loose figure blaster, wasn't even mint, rips in the cape.
Was that after she died?
Of course.
Of course. Suckers born every
So my
minute.
buddy reached out to me, was like, dude, like, this isn't even mint. Like, I could see getting some good money for it. And the guy was like, get bent. Get bent. Like, that's what I do. What I want. Blah blah blah. My friend.
I'm going to use that term from now on.
My friend went off on him, and I'll tell you what. It was just funny to read the conversations of how he went off on him. But it's just like, I know this stuff is getting more expensive, and some of it, isn't that expensive, and some is, and people are gobbling up the weapons and the figures and stuff, and it is going to get rarer because not only are we collecting, there's younger generations that I found on Instagram. They're kids that are 23, 24. I couldn't believe it, are starting to collect vintage because they love it. Like, maybe it's a hipster thing.
Oh, that's
I don't
great.
know.
Why are Jawas $40?
I just
Why?
I couldn't sell. I couldn't.
Somebody bought them all.
Yeah,
wait a minute. He might be across from me.
Maybe it's toy karma.
You know what? I think that's why they're actually going up. I don't think it's because they're like, oh, they're becoming a rare. I mean, this is the most mass-produced toys that's ever existed. It's because every time I look at one of these collections, you know, it's like, oh, my focus is the Ugnaught, and he's got like 600 of these goddamn things. I'm like, you know what? Eventually, if you're going to have like a zillion of each one, yeah, these things are going to become more rare. I'm like, let's, you don't have to collect dozens upon dozens of the same figure. That like drives me bonkers.
Yeah, I do.
You know, we were going to talk about something last time. When we went on one of those sites, I'm not going to say the name that it was. Kill it all. But,
Facebook?
Yeah, it was a Facebook site.
Okay.
One of the things that drove me away was that when you go on there, people trying to tell you what you can and can't do with your collection. Which
I just saw a post the other day about somebody popped out a Superpowers Batman.
Yeah.
Off the
the crushed bubble.
Crushed bubble, beat up card. I mean, I might be, if I was in that situation, I might consider that myself, you know, and it's mine, so I can do it if I want to.
It's mine. No one can
You
have
know?
it.
But the thing that was ironic about it is, you know, because I'm of the belief that it's yours. If you spend the money, do whatever you want. If you want to open up a Power of the Force Luke Stormtrooper disguise, do it.
I don't
It's
know.
yours.
I'm on the fence about that one. You know.
But the thing the ironic part is, he opened it off the card and then put it into a little plastic case and displayed
what the
it.
hell? I can see the card of like, you know, mold or some
Right.
sort of.
I think he had actually mentioned that one of the corners was starting to mold. It was
yeah,
folded.
forget it.
It was half off the bubble, or the bubble was half off anyway. So I don't have a problem with it.
what about the sticker thing the other day? Somebody was restoring their TIE fighter, I believe it was.
What about repro stickers?
Yeah, repro stickers. And
Wasn't that you
jumped
last
on
summer?
I use repro stickers. I do. Hey, because I know exactly what's going on with them. They're going in my collection. I want them to look good. So I'm not out there trying to.
I'm okay with
sell.
I'm okay with the stickers as long as you know you're not restickering R2 pop-up saber and trying to sell it for $500.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's going in your collection, some of those stickers, man, like the TIE Fighter stickers.
You're never going to find a vintage
Yeah,
set that you
exactly.
can actually apply. So
I've got a TIE fighter sitting at home right now that I'm going to try to sell. And I like when I get stuff like that, like the stickers, like I just sell it as is and say, listen, I usually use Elmer's glue, like an Elmer glue stick to try to reapply mine. It's not spotty. It works pretty well. But like whatever condition I get the stuff in, that's what I sell it as. Like,
yeah,
I don't
let the
believe in
buyer decide what to do with
I
it.
don't believe in peroxiding figures.
Me neither.
Because we don't know the effects of that yet. And I don't believe, no, here's the thing. I don't believe in peroxiding and selling the figures. If you want to do them to your figure, that's fine. But I will never, you'll see on my page, you'll see I had, I think, 8 Hoth Stormtroopers the other night. And they're yellowed and stuff. But you know what? I'll sell them to you. And if you're going to have them in your collection, that's what you want to do with them is up to you. That's cool. You know, but I'll never try to pass it off as this thing's pristine from 1977 and this is how I found it. You know?
Snow White.
I think that's dishonest.
Did you see the guy that was selling the figures? I don't know if he got kicked off like all the pages or he just disappeared.
Oh, he was putting chemical on him?
That weird lacquer.
I know his name. I won't say his name.
Oh, okay.
It's not like he's going to hear this podcast. Maybe he will.
But
I don't know.
I
you
hope
know,
he does.
I thought it was so weird because all his figures were like so shiny. And some people started, attacking him. But at the same time, I understood why he was being attacked because he wasn't lacquering this figure to preserve them for his collection. He was like lacquering these figures to sell them
as
It's like right off the
And
card.
it was such bullshit when he was like, "Oh, I disclose all this information before I sell it." But on one of the other pages, he wasn't disclosing.
I saw that. No, I saw that. I saw it was like these are vintage mint figures and nothing has been done to them.
I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
I was like, man,
that's
he was
the- that's-
lacquering them?
Yeah, it's some sort
some
of
kind
weird
of chemical.
lacquer.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
So I was trying to sell them as new, but like we were talking about with prices, like Jawas, like I had one for sale for $35 the other night, and it didn't sell. And like I'm kind of a firm believer. I'm not trying to put crazy prices. Like the way I look at it, like a Jawa blaster, they're not easy to find.
Stick in the market.
Probably
You gotta-
$25, and 15 for whatever for the figure. But
People
if
are
it's not
always-
gonna sell. It's not going to sell.
People are always
You know?
going to complain about prices.
And I'm willing
then
to
pay
drop
'em.
prices. I'm
You
willing
know?
to drop prices. I'm willing to make deals. If people reach out to me, it's just if I put a figure out there for sale and people want it bad enough, I want to pay that. And now, again, I'm not putting prices from our other buddy on there. I'll never do stuff like that. And I try to be charitable and try to do nice things because I'm never going to be like that guy. I don't want to be like that guy because he sucks. And a lot of people know that.
I think that's why I don't sell as much as I could. Because a lot of times,
I saw that Instagram sale you did. It was hot.
I will run around and I buy a lot from estate sales, garage sales. Especially spring, summer, I'm out there killing it every weekend.
Did you go to the recent one with the Castle Grayskull there?
I got everything they had. I was the first one in line there at like 6:30 in the morning, just sat in my car in the cold. Got everything they had, everything. But when I get home, I start looking at it and I'm like, oh, this used to be someone's, and I'd rather either one, keep it in my collection so it has a forever home again. And then if I do sell it, I don't have the heart to be like, you know what?
Forever home.
I'm gonna sell this. Let's say the Jawa. I'm gonna sell this Jawa for $40 when I know I paid like 75 cents for it. So I mean, if somebody really wants it, I'm like, all right, $20. I'm not trying to like not make any money, but I don't know. I can't do it. So the more the prices rose, you saw I don't sell much because I don't know. I feel like super bad. Like, oh, Leia Blaster. I'm like, I cringe when I'm like,
sell me that Leia Blaster.
Trade me something.
Oh, geez.
No, I totally get that. I agree and understand. I mean, but the reality of Leia blasters is when you start thinking about it.
They
were
rare.
First sucked up. Yeah, first sucked up by a vacuum cleaner, and I don't like that stuff went up. If it went up because Carrie Fisher. I mean, what's going to happen when Harrison Ford passed away? What's going to happen with his stuff?
A smuggler blaster is going to be about $12. I think $13.
Isn't that there now?
That's what it is. That's current market value.
That went over my head.
Yeah, Hannah photographed this couple in our hometown for their wedding, and the guy reached out and he's like, I got some Generation 1 Transformers if you want to buy them. And this guy kept all the weapons. Everything's mint. And to be honest, I think I'll give a couple to Bill for his kid, and
don't give him the Bill.
Bill's kid's cute, man. And I like seeing Bill in dad mode too. I saw you on the carousel the other day, and like passing it on to your kids. I can't wait to have a kid to do that with too. But I think I'm going to keep he has what is it, Omega Supreme? Is that?
Oh, that's cool. That's a good one.
He's got that thing dead mint. I'm like, I don't think there's just some stuff you can't.
Skyfire? Does he have Skyfire?
Yes.
Oh man.
What about Megatron?
Yeah, if you want to sell me Skyfire, I'll pay you the price.
Cheap.
Well, you know what? Let's roll back on one thing before we start talking about the Transformers. This is one of the pet peeves that I have, being a dad on those collector forums. Now,
I know where this is going.
I know, Rich, because I bitch about it all the time. I'm like, there's certain things I'm looking for. If you ever see my Wanted Wednesday on any of those posts, I'm always looking for like a couple things. I'm looking for the Burger King banner for the glasses. It just reminds me of my childhood or whatever. But the main thing I'm looking for is that R2 toy toter, right? And I'm always like, I just want this for my son's room, right?
The toy box thing?
The toy box.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and there's a lot of things that I buy for my son that are vintage because I had them as a kid. I want to let him play with them because they're cool toys. And then there's always that schmuck that comes on like, oh, I'm really broke right now and I just want to get some toys for my kid. And then like 2 days later, you see that son of a bitch either selling them somewhere on the Facebook forum or eBay or whatever, and then it makes someone like me. I'm like, yeah, I'm looking for that toy toter. I'm not even asking for a good price, but I'm looking for my son. And I was like, yeah, sure you are, sure it's for your kid. I'm like, well, if you come over to my house, it looks like Toys R Us has like a freaking explosion in his room. I'm like, there's so many toys, but it's like there's that weird line where people are actually looking for their kids, and then the ones that are just using that line to get stuff. So it's like it hurts me.
Puts a black eye in the game, son.
It does, man. I'm like, what the hell?
Like that Return of the Jedi desk that got sold from out from under you.
Oh, don't even get me started on that. At least I got that one. Did you see the one I got?
It was the cabinet almost thing?
Yeah, the bookshelf.
Yeah, I have the book. I have the bookshelf also. That's great.
Bill, I think I might make your day. I think one of my good friends has that R2 toy. It was like a toy box, right?
Yep, toy box.
I'll ask him. If he has
Rich is sending some sweet nothings over to Jacob. Are we taking a break?
Yeah,
he's talking about we're getting a forever home.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet you are.
I heard you're into toy rescue.
When Erica kicks Rich out of the house for having so many toys. Jake, I'm not going to need a forever home. I'm getting kicked out of here. Adopt me.
It probably will happen. So, yeah, let's take a break.
And maybe after the break, you'll hear from Hannah.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Well, we don't know yet. When we come back, there's a couple things I want to talk about. One of them is Toys R Us. What's going on with Toys R Us?
Yep.
I want to talk about the Han Solo trailer, which
hard to get excited about stuff anymore, huh, Bill?
We haven't touched on any of the other toy lines or anything.
Yeah. Rebels, did you guys all find
No,
I
I don't
am
want to hear
not.
a word about it.
We don't have cable. We're living in the dark ages. So
well, I guess we won't talk about that, but we will talk about some stuff you brought over.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll talk a little bit more to Hannah and see what's going on with this collection.
All right, cool.
Cool. We'll be right back.
Forever home.
And welcome back, everybody, for we're not doing the beginning.
Oh,
and welcome back, everybody, to Collect Them All. I'm gonna duff that one, huh? So,
Hello.
hi, we're
Where
back.
am I?
Yeah. So our guest today, Brandon, what's going on?
Nothing, man. I just saw your collection, and my wife saw it too. And all of a sudden, my room looks pretty minimalistic compared to what you got going on. But she loves the curios cabinet. Her whole thing is if it looks neat and clean and display it, and it looks great. So.
Well, I'm glad you feel that way because when Erica kicks me out, I'll probably be living in that curio cabinet. So
We got an
Spare
extra room.
bedroom.
So we before we went to break, we said we were going to come back and talk a little bit about Toys R Us, what's going on with them. And I don't know about you guys, but kind of a shame, the whole thing with Toys R Us right now, kind of falling in the way of like KB Toys or I know there's a million other stores that have done it.
I guess it's a shame, but it really just sucks. I get, it's everybody remembers going there when they were a kid.
Yeah.
Here's my thing with Toys R Us. I know a lot of people have a lot to say about it. Everyone always complains that the prices are too high, but if you live in the city,
They also do price matching. I
that's
never
the
understood that.
the prices are a little higher in major cities. But if you live in a rural town like this, they're no different than Target or Walmart. If they are, it's by a couple bucks. They do price matching, but everybody says the same thing. Oh, it's because of Amazon or e-commerce or the prices. It has nothing to do with that. They had to borrow out. Well, their company was used to borrow out money in 2005. So to put them into a really big pickle, they hired a new CEO to kind of clean up the mess, and he didn't do the job. But for 2 years in a row, he's taken a huge, huge bonus. And if he didn't get it, he threatened to leave the company and leave them high and dry. So now we're at a position where kids don't have their own store to go to. And that's what's a shame, because that's my son's favorite store.
And welcome back to Fox Business
Yeah,
Network.
so, I mean,
I'm Neil Cavuto.
when I have to tell my son that he can't go to his favorite store anymore,
Yeah, that sucks.
not only does that piss me off, I mean, it breaks my heart. I'm like,
It
this
broke my heart here.
seriously, I mean, it's disturbing. So I took him there today, and I told him, I was like, listen, the store might not be around anymore, and I'm talking to a few customers, and there's actually a lot of people there. And this lady was telling me that her son, the other day, who was maybe a couple of years older than my son, he's probably about 5 or whatever, told his mother that he would give his allowance to Toys R Us to save them, to keep them open. And this is what kills me, because there's so many people out there, especially like adult collectors, like, oh, who cares? Whatever. I don't buy it from Toys R Us. I'm like, you know what? It's not your store. All you 40-plus-year-old people, it's not your store. The store was invented for kids to have their own place to go for their own identity. I don't know why no one's bailing them out. There's a million people out there with billions of dollars that they couldn't spend in 6 lifetimes, but no one's doing anything. So, I mean,
Well, that's the next question that it brings me to is, do you think somebody's going to spring up out of this? Is there's going to be a new toy store? I don't think there is going to be. The brick and mortar, it seems it's over.
it's
Unless
tough to say.
Unless you're a Walmart, supermarket where you sell a little bit of everything.
That's the tough part, man. I don't want to take my son through disgusting Walmart to get to the toy section, which is abysmal. So, you know what I mean? And, like, again, that store was designed for kids to have their own place to go. Like, when we grew up, we had Playland, KB, Toys R Us, some of the mom and pop shops, and you know damn well when, you know, we were little kids up until, you know, 12 or whatever, that's the first place we went when we went to the mall, or we got excited when we went to Toys R Us on the weekend.
I actually remember when Toys R Us, I was talking about it before we started recording here, is I thought when we got our Toys R Us store that we've arrived on the map.
Seriously, that used to be a drive-in theater, man. Yeah, and then turn into Toys R Us. I was like, I couldn't wait to go see that guy dressed up as Jeffrey Giraffe and the whole nine. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, that was, it breaks my heart too, just for the main reason Bill said. We'll have kids someday, and the fact that I won't be able to bring them to Toys R Us never even entered my mind that would happen.
No,
and, you know, I've seen the hate online too, and I've seen people saying like, oh, they put a lot of mom and pop shops out, and this and that, good riddance, and it's like, dude, like, you know, it's free market capitalism. Those guys had an idea, and they went with it, you know, and it was a mecca for me too. My parent, you know, I'm 40 minutes away in Hamilton. Like, if I knew we were driving this way, I was like, I freaking hope we're going to Toys R Us. Cause like, you walk in and you just couldn't, you're so overstimulated. And it still happens when I go in there today. I'm like, oh, I gotta go see what they got for NECA, and I gotta go around to the Star Wars, and I gotta check out Legos, I gotta see, like, it hasn't left me in 30 years,
absolutely.
You know?
And that's the thing too. A lot of people aren't considering. The big brands like Mattel and Hasbro put Toys R Us in huge jeopardy to begin with when they were financially strained, because Hasbro wants them to dedicate X amount of space to Star Wars, which we've discussed is kind of a dead scene. Star Wars really isn't selling like it used to. It's not the powerhouse. But Toys R Us has always been the jumping off for a lot of other toy lines. Mm-hmm. And now, if they're going to let Toys R Us fold, which I mean they still have a chance to save them, but it's not looking good. But if they do fold, you can kiss, I would say, 30% of all toy companies goodbye. Lego's going to get hurt by this. Yep. Hasbro, Mattel, everyone.
Lego posted losses for the first time.
Yeah, they're going to hurt, man. There's not going to be a NECA. There's not going to be a reaction, because you know what? Not every town has like a specialty comic shop, or, you know, like, there's nowhere to buy these toys. Who's going to be just browsing online happenstance looking for these figures?
Me.
Besides Jacob. He got way too much goddamn time on his hands.
You went in the store looking for one thing, but you'd see something that you didn't even know was out, and you're like, oh man, I gotta have that. Right. And I agree with you, but 100%, it's for the kids. It's for their own identity and stuff. But what they did do great is all of a sudden when I went in there and I saw like NECA and figures that you could only get online before, and now you could hold them in your hand and see the detail and make the decision if you wanted to get them. So they were catering to our demographic too. And I thought that was a good move too. I was like, man, like, this some kids will get into this, but this is for adults too in this section, you know? And I was like, I don't have to order it and wait. I can drive just a half hour and have it.
I mean, and if I'm going to say something like that, maybe they did make mistakes on. When you walked into Toys R Us, this is my biggest pet peeve with Toys R Us, which they could have changed. I don't know what would help them with their sales or whatever. But when you walked in that store, no one in at least 20 years has ever, like, seemed happy when you go in there. Like, the employees always seem like they're miserable or like super stressed. True. I'm just like, this is supposed to be like a fun toy store, and like everyone looks like they can't like wait to punch out. I'm just like,
manager's leaning over the counter holding his forehead. You're like, what's going on here?
At least present this as like a fun place. And two, they did make huge mistakes as far as clearance. Now, when I go to like another store, I will admit, if I go to like Target or what have you, and there's a clearance section, usually if a toy is like $20, that's on sale for like $7, maybe even cheaper if they just can't get rid of it. Toys R Us always made the mistake, if something's like $100, it's on clearance for $98.98. I'm like, that's not really a clearance price, people. I'm like, you know, that's what kind of starts rubbing people the wrong way. But I mean, those are just two of my pet peeves.
Even now, if you look, I mean, everybody's got the Star Wars figures, the 6-inch, priced out at like $5.
Oh yeah.
Go over to Toys R Us. They're still $19.99. So,
you know, and you know, that's their bad planning as far as like getting rid of stuff. But it's also, like I said, it's also Hasbro putting the lean on them, saying like, hey, you have to fill X amount of space with our junk that doesn't move. Yeah. You know, and that's a lot of the different toy companies. It's like, come on, man.
But you think back about a lot of those memories you used to have. I remember walking into Toys R Us and seeing the USS flag on the wall. That's the first place I ever saw that.
Amazing.
Or the Eternia playset sitting there.
The things I was never going to own.
Yeah. Your parents just walked you right past.
Keep going.
All that stuff. And for the most part, when video games first started coming out.
Oh, yeah.
If
Nintendo
you guys,
games.
They used to have the little thing. You'd go pull the tag. And,
I love that. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
That secret, like,
They still have that
Fort
for bikes.
Knox area.
Yeah.
The secret booth.
And it was like $20 for a game, and that was a lot. You're like, your parents are like, I don't know, it's a big ticket item.
Yeah, $20 for Pac-Man. I'm not doing that. Yeah, man, that was great.
Yeah, you pulled the tag. You thought you were hot stuff walking up there, and like,
Right here, got the winner right here.
We had options too back then. Like you said, Jacob, we didn't always have Toys R Us in this area. You know, so you had your other options. You had the Playland, you had the KB. I don't know about anybody else, but Woolworths is killer for toys, man. Like, you don't have these department stores. You don't have Bradley's. You just have now 2 options. And I predicted it, I'm telling you, like almost 20 years ago, I said, in my lifetime, everyone in America is going to be living at Walmart. And everyone always like laughed at it. Like, oh, yeah, that doesn't make any sense. I'm telling you, the only last man brick and mortar store that's going to be standing is Walmart, and they're going to start buying things like places to live and like just communities. I'm telling you, you're all going to be living there. And then people are going to be like, why don't we have any options anymore?
Well, I for one hope, I can't wait to get into the Walmart community.
You're going to go to the retirement community.
Well, they're
I
going to
think
buy
I've been
everything.
featured in one of those
Yeah, they're
people
gonna
of
buy
Walmart
people at Walmart
Facebook pages there.
You know, you actually don't realize it, but this show is now sponsored by Walmart. That disgusting store that Bill don't want to walk through.
Yeah, I know. We just got bought by him on that break.
MyGarageBar.com, brought to you by Walmart.
Disgusting Walmart.
Yeah, we had Ames in Hamilton, and that's where we didn't have Toys R Us up here, and that's where I went to get figures.
Ames was great.
My parents were, like, if I could get one figure. I remember when Turtles came out, I told Hannah the story. I walked up to the counter with, like, I had to pick one. How do you pick? They marketed that so well. Here's 4 figures. You're going to want them all, plus all the villains. So I went up with, like, I think Leonardo, and I was, like, so pumped to get that one figure. And there was, that superintendent's kid was in front of me, and he's like, "Oh, you're getting a turtle toy?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm getting Leonardo. This is so great." And he like moved aside, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm getting some too." And he had all 4 turtles, all the bad guys, Shredder, the terror, whatever, the big place,
Techno-Joe,
yeah. And I just remember the look on my dad's face of just like, "This is what we can do for you. You were a good boy this week. This is what you're getting." But also just like, "Oh man, what asses."
Well, Brandon, I think what you failed to do is what I did as a kid. If I was in the store.
Steal it.
And well, besides, that was later on. I wasn't doing that when I was like 5 years old, 6.
Sure.
My mom would be like, "Okay, pick one," and I would just literally hold like 2 figures, one in each hand, and I would just stare at each one like, I don't know, I can't decide. Until my mom would just get so goddamn burnt out, she want to leave the store. She's like, "Okay, fine, we'll get them both." And
She buckled.
Yeah, she buckled. And I was like, "Okay, now I can play that game every time."
That tactic is amazing. I did not even know
I'm going to
that.
try
I was just
3 figures.
I just so like for Star Wars, to have a Star Wars figure in your hand, I was just like so elated to have one in my hand. I forgot I had a second hand I could have been utilizing.
The line I used to use on my mother is, "Well, we can put it back if we can get something for you instead, if that would make you happy." And she'd go, "Oh," the heart would melt, and then I'd get both. So
Did Toys R Us have layaway back in the day?
Yeah, they
so.
did.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's when your parents tried to teach you how to save or something, but you wanted it so bad in like a week. Like, "Hey, I saved like $2 more." I'm like, "Fine, we'll just get it."
I remember going to Zare with my grandfather and went down the aisle, and I regret this to this day. So we go down the aisle, and this is when like Star Wars was huge and Empire was out. And he's like, "Okay, pick one thing," and I was like, "Okay." And the John with Sandcrawler was on the wall. He's like, "You want this?" And I looked at it, and I was like, maybe. So I'm looking around. So I wound up picking up the Wampa, and I really wanted this Wampa. And he's like, "You sure you don't want this big vehicle?" I was like, "No, I want the Wampa." So that's what I picked. And years later, I'm like, what in the hell was I thinking? Like, why didn't I pick that? I mean, not even for the value of today, but I'm like, this is like a gigantic vehicle with like radio control, has bells and whistles, and I picked this stupid monster that's like gets piss stained in like 5 days. The bands break on them.
Yeah, you were right, Bill, earlier when you said that kids have no taste.
No taste.
No way, dude. I disagree.
taste.
You got what you liked at the time. Like that was me. Like I wanted the monsters. Like a big vehicle was like, but like
Yeah,
the
monsters
adventures
were cool.
you could have with a monster, like in your head formulating. At that time, that vehicle was just like, oh, I could pack some figures in it.
Put some
and, like,
figures in.
but like the
brown.
Wampa was gonna go home and whoop everyone's ass that you had. So I totally get that. I was totally into the monsters and stuff too, like Dungeons and Dragons. Anything at Toys R Us, like I had Supernaturals, you name it.
Oh, Supernaturals.
Anything that was in the
Look at
clearance bin, my parents were like, "Oh, they can get that for sure."
Sold.
So
you know what I'm going to miss most about Toys R Us? And you guys are probably the same way. When I was a kid, I could walk in there and it was a straight line. I knew exactly what aisle I needed to go to. I knew what section on the wall, what I was going to look at, where everything was. And it's still the same way. If I walk into Toys R Us today, I know exactly.
Me too. I beeline it right past the front,
Go right to that one Star Wars aisle, then you check like the NECA aisle, and then maybe you drift over where like the Marvel and the DC stuff is.
Just to see what they got for kids.
And then for a goof, I'll go over to the Lego aisle just to see. But
I go over there and think, geez, vintage Star Wars seems cheap now.
What's great is you hit the nail on the head. Is when I bring my son there, he walks in like he owns the place. He's strutting around. He knows exactly where he's going and what he wants to look at, and
going to his aisle.
And then the next thing you know, I'm out $200.
Dude, I went there today and $54 I just spent on.
Who knows what?
I didn't expect to buy anything, but now he's into Transformers like I was talking before we started recording. So he saw this Optimus Prime and he had to have this. And I was like, well, Easter's coming. His birthday's coming up. Let me just buy a few things on the slide. And I was like, man, I'm out almost $60 already.
Yeah.
But the thing was, like, the store was packed today. And it was just like, people were just showing face being like, we don't want. No, and that's the same thing as they weren't, man. Like, people were just talking, and everyone was like bummed out, like they don't want to see the store fold. And it's like, can't believe this is happening.
I admittedly messaged Bill too, was like, think they're going to sell it on cheap, but like you said, I don't know.
No,
they'll keep the prices up to try to recoup whatever losses.
Basically, they went to court Monday, got postponed to Tuesday. So what they'll wind up doing is, if they have to shut the stores down, they're done. There'll be no notice. Doors are locked. Everyone's out of a job, and all the Toys R Us in the U.S. will not be sent to Ross, all the discount places like Five Below,
Ollie's,
yeah.
So we're going to Five Below next.
Yeah. Five Below and Ollie's.
I'll be sitting in the
TJ
parking lot.
Maxx, yeah.
Admittedly, I went there last week. I was looking for little gifts to get you guys, and they had
this guy,
the cinema. They had the cinema
like Santa
ships.
Claus.
Have you seen the NECA cinema ships? So they did like the
Yes.
Narcissist. They did, and I had never seen a Predator Scout ship from the first movie that flies up by the planet. And I got it for Rich, and then I got it home, and I was like,
with Rich.
I really want to keep this.
I didn't know this dude.
True collector form. I went back and got him an alien figure, and I'm like, I already got a xenomorph, so I'll get Rich one, and I'm keeping this because like some things you just don't see that and the paint application on these are not that great at all. But I haven't had a Predator Scout ship, and I was like, this will look cool on a display, and I'll take it, So like, just seeing that stuff, and like you said, you go in there, and all of a sudden, the cashier's like $50, and it's like,
How'd this happen?
I got 3 things here,
Speaking of things that you brought over here today, you brought a bunch of other stuff for us to, I guess, put on our webpage.
as charity again.
As charity.
This guy.
Yeah, well, Jacob told me about, when you guys invited me on this show originally, Jacob did. He said you guys were, had a little store, and he showed me the turtle stuff you guys were selling. And you guys, take a little cut, which for the I know as better as most, selling the stuff and shipping it and packaging it can be tough. And, so I thought, I got a lot of stuff sitting in my room. I brought a box Falcon, of course. What's it missing, Bill? What's the one part that's missing on it?
What,
You had to guess.
The training ball.
You got it.
Yep.
And the rest of it's nice. No instructions or anything. It's an Empire box. I brought all 3 Slave 1s. Horribly, the top flap of the Slave 1, vintage one, broke on my way over here, but it has the instructions and the sticker sheet. It's 100% complete. The Shadows of the Empire Slave 1. The newest Slave 1 that came out. I just brought a bunch of stuff. I had a good family friend, or I have good family friends, and they had 2 kids. They had 3 kids, and 2 of the kids had muscular dystrophy, and on top of that, they had some rare genetic disorder in which not only their muscles deteriorated, but their bones did too. So these poor kids, this is why I'm grateful too. The girl made it to 16, and the boy made it to 17. They're in wheelchairs, but they never they never complained about their situation. They never, they loved toys, loved all that stuff. So I reached out to the mother and said, is there any charity I could give to, in their honor? And the mother said, make a wish is done. Granted both their wishes for them. So after you guys take your cut, whatever, price the stuff to move, I'll let you guys, you got Bill, all you guys know, obviously from your room, Rich, and Jacob knows prices.
Yeah, we're in the market.
Yeah, price them to move, because it's going to be, a little money you guys make, but the rest will write a check to make a wish. Maybe get, my garage bar on the map a little bit.
Yeah,
your
absolutely.
organization. And I'd love to do more charity events in the future with you guys,
That's incredible, man. And I mean, obviously, we can always use whatever bump we can get for the page, but for you to do that for charity is that's amazing, man. That really is.
All of us know we all have way more stuff than we need.
True.
Sitting in our room.
Well, I don't know.
And
about
that. to Bill's note, if some of these people that had billions of millions of dollars, 6 times over, could think like us, there'd be Toys R Us's and brick and mortars everywhere.
Right.
Like if I had that money, you're right. Like brick and mortar stuff from our childhood, it's weird to see it go and change, and it breaks my heart. So if you guys can sell this to some collectors out there, there's a lot of vintage, there's some modern, there's some pops, there's some posters, movie posters, whatever you guys can get for it. Make some money, put it back into this place.
Very cool.
Buy some beers for the fridge, and let's help some kids, get
yeah,
away.
absolutely.
That's very cool. So whoever is listening out there, make sure you check out the store page on our Garage Bar, mygaragebar.com site, and we should have all these different things up very shortly.
Yep.
And we'll post a bunch of pictures of it too. If you have any questions, send it to us, and we can get that answered for you.
Absolutely.
So there's that. Let's talk with Hannah a little bit here.
Isn't my husband an angel?
He is. You guys are like a power couple over here. I love it. It's good stuff.
I guess I'm grateful that I'm out kicking my coverage. Like I have the most amazing wife in the world, so I'm just grateful she lets me do any of this.
A good vibes power couple.
Yeah, man, no doubt about it.
Usually it's the other way around where, if Brandon was with anyone else, he'd be hiding his mail, all his packages.
Oh, I played the hide the package game. I heard you guys talking about that. It's like, Hannah, what time are you gonna be home today?
That's my favorite game.
It's like, oh, this figure only cost me $10.
Yeah.
For all you,
100.
I swear I traded for this one, honey.
Yeah, I got this for free. What are you talking about?
that's my favorite game. Hide the package.
I will tell you this, Brandon. When I showed her the R2D, my girlfriend, the R2D2 thing that you're going to give to my son, she was like, "He's just giving this to you." I was like, "Yes."
She said that with a smile, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So Bill's wife, wherever you are, it was absolutely, and the skateboard he's coming home with.
Oh, that's right. I didn't pay for anything.
No,
It was all given.
He's a nice guy.
Listen, you can use the excuse I do, which is I'll say I only paid $7 for it. I don't tell her that $7 for shipping.
Yeah, there you go.
So good stuff. Yeah, we got to find out. So his collection, it doesn't bother you at all. You kind of feed right in with this. This is good.
Yeah, I appreciate his passion for it. He also appreciates mine. So any way that I can support him and encourage him, and it's just great.
That's awesome. And
Do you have a sister, Hannah?
I have two sisters.
You were saying before
ding,
you
ding,
do
ding,
photography, right?
I do, yes.
Do you have a website or any place that people can see your work?
My Instagram is h.f.photo, and my website is hfphoto.space.
Excellent. You sell some of your prints, kind of thing like that? Or?
I have on Instagram. So people will message me sometimes and ask for prints, and I definitely sell them, but it's not. I don't have like a store for them.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
I stole all her top loaders to sell card backs
They're
in.
all
'Cause
gone.
they're great to ship in. She had like 100. She's like, "Where do these all go?"
They're
I'm like,
all
"I'm
gone.
selling card backs, honey."
Honey, your photos aren't selling, but these card backs are.
Seriously, that's the truth.
She has a office space up front, and my room's in the back, and it's nice. Like if we just want our own separate space to disappear into, like I'll go into my room and just stare at stuff and be a kid again, and she'll go into her room and do photo editing. I think
work.
And work.
They're the furthest parts from the house.
When I do my
It's
sale,
bad.
she's a saint. I'll be doing a sale. Like I have you guys, I'll have you over sometime for dinner, and you'll see my little room that is the dungeon. And I sit in there and have my notepad and writing stuff down. And it's not much space, and it gets filled so quick. But she'll bring me in dinner if she knows I'm, because sometimes I'll do long sales, and it's a long time.
Yeah, that's tedious. That takes a while.
Yeah.
If you take sometimes I take 100 pictures before the sale. And, on top of that, it's also customer service. So I have people messaging me all the time that just have a question about a variant, and I love talking about it. And I hope that's what's setting me apart from some of the other sellers. But some of the other sellers are like, I've messaged Far Toys and Toys from the 80s, and some of the other great Reclaimers Vintage. Some of the other great toys sellers on there will help me with any toy. I'm like, and that's again what I love about Instagram. Facebook, you may not get a reply. Someone's like, I don't have time for that. Instagram, someone will get back to me like, yeah, this is what you got. This is what you're looking at. Like maybe I'll trade you for it. So, but having that space,
you seriously set yourself apart for sure. I mean, your customer service and your just the way you package things is so meticulous and perfect, and you make sure that people are happy with what they're getting.
If you were the face of Toys R Us, they'd still be open.
Yeah. in a world gone mad on the internet, Brandon's polite, courteous, and he's just a good dude.
And actually has passion for this whole collecting thing.
The Trump administration is coming for you.
I think that's what sucks too. You know, as a collector, like I think Rich and Bill and Jacob will agree. Like when you sell something to someone, you want to send it the way you'd want to get it.
Right.
And so when you start, I'd get like carded figures off eBay that someone put in a box with one plastic bag, and the figure popped through the bubble, or like sent in a bubble mailer, and
the bubble mailers are the worst.
Yeah, so it's like I use bubble mailers for loose, but like
Not
never
for carded.
Not for carded.
carded, and once they have, if they're spending a couple $100, it's going in boxes, you know, like, but I'm a big, bubble, I have a bubble pouches, I started to try to make it as efficient as possible. So I moved from cutting bubble wrap to bubble pouches, self-sealing, where you can roll it up, and then I put that in a bubble mailer, or I'll use a bigger bubble mailer on top of that, but also changing to stamps.com. That made my life, because if I had 25 packages going out, sitting there and handwriting 25 packages, and then bringing them to the mail, like the post office people hated me. And I hated being that guy holding up the line. So I use stamps.com now, and that's a great site because it charges you a monthly fee, but you get discounts on all your packages. It saves everyone's address. So like you type in their name, it automatically populates. You can email tracking as soon as it goes out, so I don't have to take pictures of the receipt and send it to someone. So I've had to streamline a lot of it, and a lot of it's come from Hannah giving me advice on what to do. She's more savvy with technology. She's a little bit younger than me, so she's trying to help me build my Instagram page and do different stuff. And she's, said, "Oh, you should ship it this way or do that." And I'll never find another one like her that just gets it,
Very cool. This portion of the show brought to you by Stamps.com.
Yeah, we got a lot of product placements tonight.
Pepsi, the choice of a new generation.
There better be endorsements flying through the door.
Stamps.com and Walmart, that disgusting place.
Well, Stamps.com got a glowing review, but Walmart not so much.
Yeah, Hannah is amazing. The first date we went on, I asked her what you want to do, and she's like, well, do you want to go to dinner and a movie? The cliche. She's like, yeah. I'm like, well, what do you want to see? She's like, well, I saw Immortals is out. We can go get Mexican. And I'm like, you want to get married right now? Like, she wants to go see all the movies that I want to. She'll see it and be like, I'm not allowed to watch a Marvel trailer without her there, or trailers for scary movie, or just she digs this. She's not a rom-com girl. She wants action, adventure, like. We can't watch anything separate.
So basically, you made a million nerds real jealous. Basically what it is.
Hannah, how many sisters do you have now?
2. Still 2 from earlier.
So as I'm looking at the clock, we gotta kind of wrap up here soon. But I wanted to talk more about the movies, and I guess it's the perfect time to do that. Han Solo trailer that came out. What did you think when you first saw that? What's your first reaction on that?
Well, I liked Rogue One, and this is a separate Star Wars story, so I think they could be successful with it. Again, going back to Last Jedi, it left such a bad taste in my mouth. And that trailer and how they presented everything in Last Jedi, I thought it was going to answer a lot of questions, and it didn't. So now it's got me guessing. Every trailer I see, it's like, well, yeah, it looks great, but what are they going to give us? So, I mean, am I excited for it? Yeah, I will always go and see. Who are we kidding? As much as I didn't like Last Jedi or Building, I'm still going to go see the next one that comes out. I have to go see it to have an opinion, if you want to be fair. So I hope it's great. The trailer looked awesome. Some of the costumes, Woody Harrelson. I like Woody.
Yeah.
I like Woody.
Cheers, come on.
Nah, I'm a Coach guy.
I think the only thing I really don't dig what they're doing with Star Wars is everybody has to have a backstory and everybody is connected.
George Lucas started that whole connection.
Yeah.
Well, listen, this has been my whole thing. Everyone's like, oh, they've got slated to make Star Wars movies till 2030, and they're just milking it. Disney does not pay $4 billion for something to lose money. That mouse is going to milk every bit of it.
Oh, yeah. The Game of Thrones guys are, helming the TV show. And
live-action TV show. Rian Johnson got signed on for his own trilogy. I might not be seeing that.
The Han Solo trailer, it's blasphemy. I can't stand Han Solo. I don't couldn't care less about that character. Never cared for him. So whatever happens, whatever happens in this movie, I don't care, man. I'll just watch it like a popcorn film, and whatever they want to do with him is fine by me.
At least you know he's not going to die, right?
No, not yet.
Oh, they must have tore your heart out, Bill, when they missed the whole mark to put Lando in Canto Bight.
No, because then they would have killed him.
They would have killed. Yeah, they would have killed you for it. I like Han. I think he's. I don't know.
I'll tell you what. I'm more excited about Infinity War than any Star Wars movie on the map. At this point, Marvel is just killing it. Whatever Star Wars is doing at this point, I couldn't honestly care less.
Yeah, I would like to see I've watched Clone Wars. I'd like to see Cad Bane. I'd like to see some of those characters come out from there. But I couldn't agree with you more. Marvel can do no wrong. And how they started that out with Iron Man, how many years ago was it? They were talking about the other day.
How was that, 2008? 10 years ago?
Yeah, about that.
They had such a cohesive vision and how they were going to lay it out and introduce each movie that they can't do any wrong.
Every time I think I'm going to be, every time I think I'm going to be burnt out, like that Thor movie that just came out, I was like, another Thor. When I come out, like, man, it's like the best one.
Bill, I just bought it because Bill's like my best friend Dan I grew up with. Very critical of movies, and you got to have that friend because I'll go into and just be so happy to be entertained for 2 hours, but my friend's like, this and that and this, and you got to have that, and that's what I like about Bill. And when I heard him rave about Ragnarok, I was like, I'm going to buy it, And me and Hannah saw Black Panther. We absolutely loved that. Like, they care and they handle it right. And you know what? Everything's not like the comics. And I understand they can't cater to all the uber nerds that are picking apart stuff.
I like that. I like the liberties they take.
So do I. And I want to talk to you guys. The soundtrack for Thor Ragnarok had almost that kind of Buckaroo Banzai Beyond the Eighth Dimension feel to it. Stranger Thing 80s-esque. I was like, man, these guys are just...
They nailed it.
When I'm excited about Ant-Man and the Wasp, they're doing something right.
Right. Yeah, so we celebrate. And then we've had to give DC a fair chance, so we go and watch those, and it's just we almost sorry, Jacob, I'm sorry.
Oh, no. I'm just a Batman fan.
Okay, well, Batman v Superman, we almost walked out of that one. It's just they can't put any... And I want to see him succeed. I want to see those characters come to life in the way that Marvel's done it. And they just can't. And we still keep going to see if they'll turn around.
Well, Justice League, as I was watching that, I kept playing.
I haven't seen it yet.
Me neither.
The whole interaction between all their characters really, really weird.
It was weird.
I'll tell you what.
Because they just met and they're like,
they rush it so much.
Yes.
All right, we have to fit this into 2 hours, guys. So guess what? You're all friends. You're all fighting for the same thing. And just go.
Wonder Woman was the best movie I thought they did.
Yeah.
And I think they followed what I called the Captain America formula.
That was
they had
like Captain America.
WW2 era. They had the main superhero with a bunch of ragtag crew, and then it worked. And I was like, there you go, guys.
Some of it was serious. Some of it was kind of kitschy. Yeah.
Without spoiling it for you guys, in Justice League, when Superman comes back, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a real cool part.
Well, I almost bought it yesterday when it came out, and someone I know was like, "Don't buy this movie," and I was like, "Okay." I'm like, "It must be that bad."
I'll watch it.
Go to Redbox.
You know what? I went to Redbox and I got I, Tonya instead, and literally that is the best movie I've seen in 4 or 5 years.
Really?
I want to see
good.
that.
I watched it twice.
I think that, like I said, the CW adaptations of DC stuff is better than the movies to me, as far as how they tell the comic story. Flash did Flashpoint Paradox. Have you seen that cartoon movie, Jacob?
Yep,
that is. You've never seen it? I'll let you borrow it, Jacob. It's
yes. The cartoon movie.
Where everything goes haywire because Barry saves his mother. They did a lot of that in the TV show, and they're not. That's what I think. What fans want is some of the comic stuff to be told.
DC is still churning out some pretty good cartoon movies.
Oh, absolutely! I'll tell you what. Yeah, I'll watch them.
The live action, not so much, but the cartoons are pretty. I just got Gotham by Gaslight. I haven't watched it yet.
That was cool. I rented that on Hulu or whatever it was.
Cool. Yeah, I haven't watched it yet. I just bought it the other day.
I'll watch those all day long. And I met Kevin Conroy at Comic-Con, and I got him to sign my Flashpoint. And then Ron Perlman was in Hamilton, so I got him to sign it because he did Deathstroke. And then I actually was friends with the guy who voiced Superman for that, which wasn't much, but I got to send it to him in L.A. to get it signed. But I love the cartoon. DC stuff is fantastic.
I think right now with the live action stuff, they're kind of they must realize we're not anywhere near Marvel. So let's look at Gal Gadot for just a little while longer. I think that's how they're doing it.
Okay. They should just slow down. That's the thing. They're trying to race and compete. just ignore what Marvel's doing and
Right.
just do your own thing. Because on the flip
Find
side,
your own formula, yeah.
like Brandon and Jacob are saying, like the cartoons and some of like the TV stuff for DC is strong. Where I think Marvel is literally messing up one show after another. Like Daredevil was cool on Netflix, and since then I just think it's been a
You
downward
didn't like Luke
spiral.
Cage?
Well, just
Okay, I liked the first half of Luke Cage when they killed the main villain in the first half, and then they brought that corny dude with like a battery pack on him at the end. I didn't like that. So I thought the first like maybe 5 episodes of Luke Cage were so tight,
I'll tell
and then
you-
it just tanked.
I'll
to
tell
me.
you what I can tell already. My favorite episode, and I bet your favorite scene out of Luke Cage was in the 3rd episode when he puts on the Wu-Tang and starts walking through.
Oh yeah,
and
that's great.
that's the best. I was like, oh my god, this is amazing.
But like Iron Fist was, I forced myself to watch Iron Fist because I felt like I had to watch it, and it was just like torture. Punisher, I got to 2 episodes, I just couldn't
haven't
watch
tried it.
anymore. And then I want to say Alias, well, Jessica Jones, same thing.
Couldn't get
I
behind
watched
that.
the first episode of the new season. I was like, I don't want to watch this. They're making huge mistakes. It's just not entertaining. The acting is super corny. So I mean, I think they're doing the role reversal of what Warner Brothers is doing. So like, good movies, bad TV, and Warner Brothers is doing good TV, bad movies.
I'm glad I come on talk to you guys on this podcast every couple weeks because I realize now I have to get these things called Netflix and Instagrams,
Television.
TV. What?
What the hell is a TV?
Yeah, I mean, Marvel invented the tease at the end, didn't they?
Yeah.
During Iron Man.
Oh, yeah.
People were like, you should have stayed till the end. And all of a sudden,
Now people are watching credits for the first time.
yeah,
I know.
yeah, exactly. It's amazing. And
Now they're doing double T's and stuff.
yeah, double T. So you get one right after the first credits, and you got to stay all the way to the end.
It's great that you mentioned that because when I went to see Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 with my son, we were leaving, the usher was actually standing there and he said, "Hey, don't leave yet because there's 2 more scenes that are coming up." So we stood there instead of walking out because we thought they were all done, 'cause-
Well, the downside of that is the people that have to clean up the popcorn and all the shit laying around. They hate those things
Right.
because they realize, like, hey, I gotta clean this up before the next showing, but yet there's, like, still 100 people sitting around here waiting for, like, another scene that's never gonna happen, like, go home.
Especially at like 11:30 at night at the last showing, and there's one person in the back of the theater that just will not
Like,
leave.
it's
That's
over.
me. I know.
I can't remember what movie I was at. Some Marvel movie in Hamilton because we still have our like old classic theater, and some girl was sitting in front of me and she thought she knew everything about Marvel, and you just you sit back as a fan and you just keep your mouth shut and you're rolling your eyes, and she stopped everyone at the end. She's like, "Everyone sit down. They're about to introduce the new bad guy, Galactus," and it was Thanos. I'm sitting there so mad and angry. I'm like, man, you're trying to make everyone stay and you're not even doing it right. The nerd in me from the comic book guy was almost like, you need to sit down and just shut up,
So listen, I think we're going to wrap it up. I want to be able to get you guys out of here. There's a crazy snowstorm
It's be a
going
2-hour
on.
drive home, I think.
Yeah, that's one of the
Who are you
reasons.
kidding? You're spending the night in Rich's toy room.
Yeah, locking himself in.
Yeah, we can spoon by the friggin' Masters of the Universe.
in dog hair.
Plenty of that too. But listen, man, it was great having you guys
Thank
on.
you.
Thank you so
And,
much for having us up.
Plug your Instagrams and all that stuff one more time.
So mine is Jabba's Toy Dungeon, and my personal page is Yakka12, YAKKA12. It's like Australian slang. I had some Australian boss at one point, but I do my collection on there, and me and Hannah post stuff there. But so Jabba's Toy Dungeon for charity stuff coming up, all sorts of fun stuff coming up. If you want to buy some figures, hit me up.
Definitely. And your photography one?
Yep, my photography Instagram is h.f.photo.
Very cool.
That's easy.
Easy peasy.
So, what's next for us? We never even plan out shows. We're just like,
Well, I'm gonna have a beer.
yeah.
Then I'm gonna, I think our last segment was sponsored by not only Staples.com but Redbox. So I'm gonna probably go to the Redbox and I don't know.
I'm going to watch I, Tonya one more time.
Thanks
He's gonna
again.
try
for
to find
having
a
me, guys.
forever
We really
home.
appreciate. I hope to come back in the future. This
Oh, yeah,
place is
definitely.
amazing,
Thank
and
you.
let's do some more charity work through my garage bar. And
I
see
would
what we
love
can
that.
do.
Would absolutely
Yeah,
love
Rich
that.
is a big fan, especially if there's anything that you were involved in with animals. Rich is a big fan of that.
Always into it.
Oh
Always
God,
into
we'll
it.
talk about our cats after this.
And coming up very soon, I know that we have a show with Legos. We've mentioned it before. We're supposed to be going over and seeing this collection.
Hopefully this week coming up and after this show has been released, and then we're going to pump out another one shortly.
Yeah, the Legos right in your wheelhouse, sir.
I'm ready.
All right. So I guess that's going to do it for us. So, Brandon, Hannah, thank you so much. And there you go. And for Bill and Jacob, I'm Rich Massucci. Thanks for tuning in, and we will catch you next time.
One more time, Brandon.
What are we talking about here?
No more war. No more fighting. We gotta love each other. We gotta love each other. No more war. No more fighting. We gotta love each other. We gotta love each other. No more war. No more fighting. We gotta love each other. We gotta love each other. No more war. No more fighting. We gotta love each other. We gotta love each other. No more war. No more fighting. We gotta love each other. We gotta love each other. No more war. No more fighting. We gotta love each other. We gotta love each other.
Once you change your philosophy, you change your thought pattern.